I almost begin the show by apologizing, not to the fans for this Florida State product. I'm not responsible for that. Mike is, and I'm sure, if he could, he'd individually apologize to every one of you. He should, anyhow. He should. He should do that right after firing every single coach on his staff. And that's only because he can't fire himself. Because at this point, I think what he's done is a fireable offense. But I almost want to apologize that this week is ruined. This week. The season was already ruined before Friday night. But you know for how long Florida State fans and Miami fans have been going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I'm reminded of the fact that in rivalries, as much as you despise the other program, or if it's a professional rivalry, the other team, the other franchise, you're saddled with the knowledge that you need the other team because there wouldn't be a rivalry if they didn't exist. These two teams have played 68 times. It's 35-33. I mean, that's how this has been a war with Miami forever. And I am responsible as a media type, and I guess not a spokesman for Florida State, but somebody who speaks about Florida State and in a public forum in a setting like this, with a mic and a bully pulpit, if you will, as some describe it. I'm responsible for some of the most vitriolic, trash-talking moments on behalf of Florida State towards Miami ever. And I've been on the receiving end of as nasty and vitriolic trash talk from them as one could ever receive. And back and forth we've gone. And there's always been a hint of, we wouldn't want it any other way. Oddly, you think about it just again in terms of you need your rival to exist. You need your rival to be what they've always been for there to be a rivalry. And that is gone this year. Florida State didn't live up to their end of the bargain, not even a little bit. Like, if you showed a measure of competence, if you showed any semblance of a healthy program that you were taking to the party, then we could go ahead and go back and forth with this idea of, one team's well ahead of the other, but F you anyhow, let's go, let's see, any given Saturday. But it's not any given Saturday. We've got zero chance to beat Miami. I'm not sure we're going to beat Charleston Southern. Isn't that who we play later on this year? I'm not sure. I'm not sure we're going to beat them. Florida's going to hammer us. We're not a program. This is a putrid, completely inept, beyond embarrassing representation of Florida State football. It's not worth their time. And it's certainly not within us to have the Florida State-Miami conversation that we always have. I mean, there have been a few times in this great rivalry where one or both, in some cases, of the programs aren't anywhere close to being competitive. We've been there, right? We've been on the wrong side of that. And we've seen them when they were down like that and 47-0 happens. Florida State just does whatever they want with Miami. And it's funny. But I don't know that it's ever been where it is right now, where one of the parties, and unfortunately for us, it's us. It's this trash that Mike and staff have produced that has left this rivalry bankrupt. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to say about Florida State-Miami. There's no measure of, if this, maybe that, who knows, fourth quarter. No. You know and I know there ain't nothing. Florida State isn't really even involved. this isn't even a thing, right? It's not even a thing. I never thought I'd take to the airwaves, and this isn't about me. This is a representation of how awful and unprecedented these times are in the modern era of Florida State football, that we would be in a situation like this where you could say legitimately, I don't have anything for you. I don't, you see what we see. You're looking at the same thing. I'm talking to like a Miami fan right now who's like, oh, it's Florida State Miami week. Is it Florida State Miami week? Is there anything there that says that this is a Florida State Miami week other than the date, that it's the schedule, that, there it is. Okay, well, we do play this week. So no, I disagree, Craig. He's going to fire a ton of those coaches. He has no choice. It's not about guts. This is simple and straightforward. This isn't about want or anything else. This is obvious. You got no chance. I mean, he's lucky he's not going to get fired. He's very fortunate that he just got that contract extension and has millions and millions and millions, over 80-something million reasons why he'll be back next year. That's the only reason he'll be back. This is buffoonery. This is embarrassing beyond reason. It doesn't matter that I like Mike. I do. And it doesn't matter that, I think most of this fan base likes Mike. It doesn't really, even those that are in the camp of, well, let's not forget the man won 19 in a row, was 23-3 over a 26-game period. I don't forget that. I know right now a lot of people do, but he actually had success. It wasn't like that he's never had success here. He just got done engineering an ACC championship season, an undefeated regular season. They were, other than getting screwed by the committee, they were going to the college football playoff a year ago. That's why this is unprecedented. This is something that, that TCU team that played for the national title, that next year was bad. But they weren't this bad. They weren't like this. Michigan just won the Invitational, and they're awful. Like, that team's not any good, but they're not like this bad. Like, they're competitive. They're going to go 6-6 or 7-5. This is non-competitive. This is not. There's no semblance of the team that was here a year ago, and it's not just because certainly that they lost a ton of talent. They did lose a ton of talent, and even the most optimistic amongst us thought, okay, it's entirely possible that they could have a good year, and a really good year being 10-2 with all of the changes and all of the loss of personnel, NFL personnel. You thought in your mind, I don't know, 9-3, maybe if DJ plays well and they can run the ball, they could go 10-2. Yeah, we were that kind of optimistic. We thought they could be a good team, and we even said preseason that if they went 10-2, that might be good enough to get to the ACC championship game again, and you might be able to defend your title. And, of course, if you win the ACC, you're in the playoff. So that was kind of the recipe for a good year, which is conceding that you're losing a ton of top-tier talent, and therefore you're going to take a step back. But there was nobody, not the head coach, not any analyst, not anybody from the media, not anybody on that team, not anybody anywhere, that Florida State thought that Florida State would be this kind of jumbled, broken, incomprehensibly bad, unprecedented nightmare that we witness every time they take the field.